That's all they know.
And you thought that you'd be safe in your tower.
They think they're insulated.
From the people below.
What about the truth?
But the truth has undermined your foundation.
An earthquake.
By so many people now in the
We're all figuring it out.
You thought that you'd see the day that you could just get away from the ones you betrayed, who raised their voices to say you won't be trusted anymore.
All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It is the 2nd of October, 2025. And these are the WTF reports. I'm your host, Dave vonKleist. And as always, we're brought to you in part by the Wave Watch. And I'm going to get to something in just a little while having to do with the Wave Watch. But I do want to remind you that we broadcast live from 2 until 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And that's 11 a.m. to 12 noon Pacific Time. And well, it's actually 5 minutes after the hour, so yeah, cut me some slack on that one. But anyway, that means that we are broadcasting live at those times I just designated, and the phone number here is 215-867-8255, but I'm not going to open the phone lines right away because I got a snot load of stuff to get to today. Oh my gosh. Before I get started, I'm just going to take a little deep breath here because so much is happening, and I got to tell you, it's emotionally exhausting. I mean, sometimes I just wish I could just shut off the computer and just go away and have a nice day and not think of anything, you know, and go watch a movie or, you know, and yeah, I do take time out to do that. But I mean, we're talking about, you know, this world that we're living in. It's like a real live soap opera. And it's never ending. And every day there's a new episode and new stuff comes out that blows your mind. And I'm sure you regular listeners out there, you know, all 15 of you, whatever it is out there, I don't know how many you are. But anyway, like I said, it's somewhat exhausting. It's you know, I'm out of breath sometimes after going through all the news feeds and all the stuff that I'm picking up here. And sometimes you just got to step away. But, you know, we all have our lives. We all have our desires. We all have our missions, you know, our goals, et cetera, and we all want to do the best we can in this life. But I want to remind you that our lives are finite. We're born, we live our life, and then we die. And the bottom line here is, and I'll ask you, dear listener, do you know anything about your great-grandfather? Your great-grandmother? Do you know how they talked or what they thought or what they believed in or how they acted? No, most of us don't. I would venture to say that none of us know who our great-grandfathers were or what they were like or our great-grandparents. The reason I'm saying this is that, you know, we all worry about, well, we don't all worry about it, but a lot of people worry about their legacy. What kind of legacy will I leave to my children and my grandchildren? How will they remember me? Nobody's going to remember you in 100 years. Unless you're super, super famous and historical. I mean, somebody like, you know, Abraham Lincoln or, you know, maybe Elvis Presley or John Lennon or Michael Jackson, you know, or maybe in the Hollywood world, you know, Paul Newman. You know, in another 100 years, nobody's going to remember all these people. Seriously. I mean, a lot of people, the generation here now, they maybe heard of the Beatles, but they don't remember that it was John, Paul, George, and Ringo. You know, it doesn't make any difference how famous you are or what you accomplish. In 100 years, nobody will know and nobody will care. The bottom line here is that we're here on this finite lifetime to do the best that we can do for others. I mean, that's the way I see it. You know, I mean, like I've said so many times, we all know you come into this world naked and you're going to go out the same way. And I don't care how much money you made, how big your house was, what fancy car you had, you know. It doesn't matter what people thought of you. The bottom line here is when you leave this world, the only thing that I believe you get to take with you is the love that you shared and the love that you received. It's sort of like that final scene in the movie Ghost. When Patrick Swayze turns around, he looks at Demi Moore, and he says, you know, Molly, He says, it's wonderful. All the love, you get to take that with you. And that I believe is the truth. And even the closing line on the Beatles album, Abbey Road, remember, and in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. I do believe that. I really do. I believe that to the bottom of my soul. And I believe that karma is real too. But I wanted to basically set the table with this because we all live our lives, and I think that we all, like I said, we don't want to have misdirected goals, or misguided, things that we want to do. How important are those things? And I don't mean to get all esoteric with you or anything, but I mean, we have to put things into perspective. We have this one life, and I think that we all are basically charged with the duty or the mission, whatever, of doing what we can for other people. And we all, and I've said this before, we all have blessings, we all have talents, we all have skills, we all have abilities. Some people are mathematically inclined. Some people are mechanically inclined. Some people are artistic. Some people are musical. We all have our abilities. God gave me the gift of music and the ability to think and speak. And so this is why 30 years ago, the light bulb went off. And I think I've mentioned it before. A friend of mine gave me a Bible, and I just opened it randomly, and it took me to Ezekiel chapter 33. And it told a story about God told the people to assign a watcher on the wall. And when he sees the sword, he's to blow the trumpet. If he blows the trumpet and they don't listen, well, their blood is on their own head. But if he sees the sword and blows not the trumpet, then their blood is on his head. And that's what sort of inspired me to start screaming from the rooftops, using everything I had to try to communicate the dangers that I was seeing. And that's that's just the way it is. That's the way it was for me. But, I watch the world and what's going on. I see so much deception. So, on both sides. I don't care. Yeah, if you're a liberal, yeah, you've been lied to. You've been manipulated. You've been brainwashed. And you know what? You conservatives out there, you're being brainwashed just as much. And I'm going to prove it to you. Okay? Right now, of course, the main topic of discussion all over the world right now, with all this stuff that's been going on in Israel and Palestine, and everybody's talking about Israel. And, of course, God's chosen people. And then Ted Cruz is debating with Tucker Carlson. God said that I will bless those who bless Israel, and I will curse those who curse Israel. No, he got that wrong. He was talking to Abraham. Anyway, I wanted to go down this road because it's important that we figure this out. Excuse me. So, I'm going to challenge you folks out there, any of you listeners out there, if you have a Bible, I want you to get the Bible right now. Go get it, crack it open, go ahead. I challenge you. This is your Dave challenge of the day, okay? And if you're Jewish, I want you to get your Torah out, all right? Get your Torah, get your Bible, all right? Now, the thing is, if you got the Torah, you're probably not going to have this chapter. Okay, but it's in the King James Bible, and but I will tell you that I went online. I did my research on this. I went online and I did a search, and I pulled up the Torah. Now, this is the Jewish Bible, Old Testament. All right. Now, the Torah in the book of Isaiah, in most of the Torahs that you have, it goes up to Isaiah chapter 52, and then there is no chapter 53. Now, if you do a search, go open your computer and type in Torah Isaiah 53, and you'll find that when the page loads, you're going to see this is the forbidden chapter. And they're going to, you have to scroll a little bit to find the actual text of Isaiah 53 in the Torah because it's been suppressed. It was deleted, but it exists. So I am going to read from the Torah. This is not the Bible. This is not the Old Testament. I'm going to read from the Torah. And I want you to pay close attention. And you folks that have the King James Bible open right now to Isaiah chapter 53. All right? I'm going to read from the Torah. You follow along. All right? Are you ready for this? It's going to blow your mind, folks. And you Jewish folks out there, this pissed off a lot of Jews out there. Okay? This will only take a minute here. Here we go. This is, again, from the Torah, from the Jewish Bible. Isaiah chapter 53. Here we go. Who hath believed our report? And to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground. He hath no form nor comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, and acquainted with grief. And we hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he hath borne our griefs, and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. And with his stripes we are healed. I'm going to pause for a second. Stripes. Do you know what stripes are? That's what you get when they hit you with a whip. Whoosh, there's a stripe. Whoosh, there's another stripe. Whoosh, that's another stripe. Okay, I'll carry on now. And with his stripes we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, and the Lord hath laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed, and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is dumb, so he opened not his mouth. He was taken from prison and from judgment. And who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people he was stricken. And he made his grave with the wicked, and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed. He shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. Okay, that is Isaiah chapter 53 from the Torah. You folks that had the King James Bible open, did you follow along? Was there one word that was different? And who do you suppose this is describing? And again, this is in Isaiah chapter 53, hundreds of years before Yeshua, Messiah, Jesus, whatever name you want to put on him. This is hundreds of years before Jesus was born. Now, was this not a description of the life of Jesus? Can you understand why the Torah took this out of their printed Bibles? Well, you know what? Yeah, Satan is the prince of deception. And so that the chapter 53 was taken out of the Torah. How very dare they do that? Well, guess what, dear Christians? You've been subjected to the same type of editorialism. And I want to share with you, okay, and I would challenge you to find it, because you can go to your King James Bible and look for Daniel chapter 13, and guess what? Chapter 13 is missing. Completely gone. It's called the Book of Susanna. Now, I could read this entire thing to you. Let me see. It's actually, let me see, 1, 2, 2.5 pages-ish. But the Book of Susanna, I'll encapsulate it very quickly. It's about a young woman by the name of Susanna who every day with her handmaidens would go into the backyard and bathe. And there were two elders, by the way, elders also means judges, who had both discovered in their travels that, oh my gosh, they could stop at the fence and look in. Okay, one of the elders was on this side and the other elder was on that side, and they were peeking through the fence in the bushes, watching this lovely woman, this lovely comely woman taking her bath. And as they walked around, they bumped into one another. Oh my goodness. Oh, whoa, what are you doing here? Whoa, what are you doing here? Oh, no, I wasn't doing anything. No, me neither. And then they decided that they wanted to conspire. They wanted to have their way with her. Yeah. So when the handmaidens went away, they burst in and they basically accused her of having a lover, which was a great sin. And she was being accused of this crime. And the bottom line here is they said, you either let us have our way with you, or we will take you to the people and accuse you. And so she basically says, what am I to do? I can't sin against the Lord. I can't do this, I will die. So anyway, she says, I won't do it. So then the two elders or judges go to the people and say, we saw this woman having sex with a young man, and before we could detain him, he got away. And all the people said, oh, what a great sin that is. We have to stone this woman. So all the people are gathering around. They're about to stone Susanna and kill her. And then Daniel comes along. He says, hey, whoa, wait a minute. I want to talk to these two judges. He says, hey, this judge, you go over there. I want to talk to this guy privately. So Daniel pulls this one judge over. He says, hey, you say that you saw her having sex underneath the tree. Which tree? And I forget what tree it was. He says, the olive tree or something. Oh, okay, fine. And then he goes and he gets the other judge and brings him over. He says, you said you saw her having sex with her lover underneath the tree. Which tree? And he says, it was the oak tree. Ah. So Daniel caught the two elders in a lie, and he exposes them. And instead of the people stoning Susanna to death, they stoned the judges to death. Now, that's just, a thumbnail sketch of what the book of Susanna says. Now, ask yourself this question. Do you think King James would want this in his King James Version? No. That's why it was deleted, because it showed that the judges could be corrupted, and when they are corrupted, they need to face the ultimate penalty. That's why King James took that out. So I just wanted to share these two scriptures with you, because we have all been deceived. I don't care if you're Jewish. I don't care if you're Christian. I don't care. And the bottom line here is that we all have to just stop. Just stop what we're doing. Bob Newhart, bless his soul, he made a funny thing. This is going back about 15, 20 years. Here, listen to this.
Let's go, Catherine. I'm going to say two words to you right now. I want you to listen to them very, very carefully. Then I want you to take them out of the office with you and incorporate them into your life.
Well, shall I write them down?
Well, if it makes you comfortable, it's just two words. We find most people can remember them.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay, here they are.
Stop it!
I'm sorry?
Stop it!
Stop it?
Yes, S-T-O-P, new word, I-T.
So, what are you saying?
It's funny. I say two simple words, and I cannot tell you the amount of people who say exactly the same thing you're saying. I mean, this is not Yiddish, Catherine. This is English.
Stop it.
Stop it.
I should just stop it.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right. Just stop it. That's where we are, folks. Just stop. I don't care if you're Jewish. I don't care if you're Christian. I don't care if you're Muslim. Everybody just has to stop what they're doing. Because there's so much hatred and so much propaganda and so much, misinformation, disinformation, lies that are going out there to pit us against each other. And there's no reason for it. However, there are some evil ones that do want this to happen. We've got, you stop and think about who are the movers and shakers. Who are the ones that are pulling the strings? Who are the ones behind the scenes who are, taking over all the different governments of the world? Of course, we know that, you could take a look at the cross or the Star of David or the crescent moon and the star or an Egyptian Ankh or a Buddha or whatever, and then look at a dollar sign. Now, which one do you suppose most people worship? And if you use, deeds and not words, I think the answer is quite obvious. Most of the world worships the dollar, the shekel, the franc, the peso, the mark, the pound, whatever. Money is their God. And I'm not trying to, proselytize or anything like this. I'm just trying to put things into perspective here, folks. And I don't mean to get all heavy on you, but I mean, my gosh, and then you have to ask, okay, who are these people behind the scenes? Is it the Rothschilds? Is it the Rockefellers? Is it those royal families that are owners of the Federal Reserve and the international banking cartels? Is it the Khazarians? Is it the Ashkenazis? Well, we got to go back even further from that. Who is it that's pulling the strings? Well, maybe we should go back and take a look at some of the scripture again. Now, in the King James Bible, there's, I think it was in 2 Samuel and also in the book of Joshua. Twice in the Old Testament, it refers to the book of Jasher. And then, of course, there's the book of Enoch. And I remind you, for those of you who've been paying attention during these broadcasts, I've referred to the IngersollLockwood.com website numerous times, which is the recruitment website for the United States Space Force. And if you go to their library, you know what the suggested reading is? The book of Enoch. Now, why do you suppose the Space Force would try to tell you to look at the book of Enoch? Maybe because it has something to do with the fallen angels. So who are the ones that are pulling the strings of the Rothschilds family and all these other? Now, I'm just going out on a limb here, folks. I could be wrong. But I mean, in the book of Enoch, it says here, let me see, and this is in chapter 6 of the book of Enoch. If you haven't read the book of Enoch, you got to check it out, folks. It is quite interesting indeed. And let me see. And the angels, the sons of heaven, saw and lusted after them. They're talking about the women of earth. And said to one another, come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men. And this is in the King James Bible as well, the fallen angels. And have children with them, said Semjaza, who was their leader. He said unto them, I fear you will not agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of this great sin. And they all answered him and said, let us all swear an oath, and all bind ourselves by mutual curses, so we will not abandon this plan, but do this thing. Then they all swore together and bound themselves by mutual curses. And they were in all 200 who descended in the days of Jared in the summit of Mount Hermon. And they called it Mount Hermon because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual curses of the act. And these are the names of their leaders. Samlazaz, which is also known as Samjaza, that was their leader. Arachlaba, Ramiel, Kokablel, Samlel, Ramlet, Danal, Ezequiel, Barakwijal. I can't even say that one. I could go on, but the point is that maybe these fallen angels are the ones who are giving the marching orders to these families who basically are worshiping Satan. Now remember, Satan is the head guy, right? So I don't know. I don't mean to get esoteric, but again, this has got nothing to do with what I believe. It's got nothing to do with what you believe, but it's what they believe, possibly. They made it, abundantly clear that they follow, what was it, Ursula von der Leyen? She said, Europe has the values of the Talmud. Oh, really? Oh, really? Have you ever checked out the Talmud? Again, I emphasize, folks, if you haven't seen the greatest show on earth, I mentioned it yesterday. It's a documentary film that was released, about a month or so ago, 2 months ago, in June. Let me see if I could pull it up here. Nick Alvear. Nick Alvear produced it. If you haven't seen it, you've got to see this film. It really does explain what has been going on with Israel and with the different religions and how all of the bloodlines worked out. Again, it's not necessarily what I believe or what you believe, but we have to understand what they believe. Anyway, I needed to go down this path because we're all being lied to in every single way. I mean, I can't think of one thing that is true anymore. And I mean, things are really getting crazy. Have you heard the latest from Ted Cruz? I mean, you want to talk about diluted. Here's Ted Cruz. Listen carefully.
How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders?
Yeah, I like that.
How about we all come together and say, let's stop rape?
That'll work for me.
How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles?
What? What? Did you hear that? This is how crazy things are. And meanwhile, the day before yesterday, President Trump had Dr. Oz and Bobby Kennedy and Albert Bourla.
I was honored to have Albert be the first. He's done a fantastic job with the COVID. He did a fantastic job with a lot of things. He's a leader, and Pfizer is right at the top. It's there. Eli Lilly has been fantastic also, my friend. And they're all coming in over the next week. We're making deals with all of them. I was honored to have
making deals with all of them. What the heck happened to Trump? Is this the same Donald Trump that we knew 10 years ago when he came down the golden escalator? This does not seem to be the same individual. I don't know whether this is a body double or somebody with a mask, or maybe it is Donald Trump, but he's been read the riot act, and maybe one of those. Whoa! Okay, hold on there, caller. Maybe one of those three words came into play when it comes to Donald Trump.
Bribery, coercion, blackmail.
Okay, are they making Trump an offer he can't refuse? Has he been threatened? I don't know, but this certainly isn't the policy that I thought that Donald Trump was going to make. Okay, let's go to the phone. Okay, hello, caller, are you there?
I'm right here.
Oh.
This might be a topic for another time. You might tell me to call back, but am I allowed to change the subject on you, or would you rather me call back? Because I still want to talk about photo IDs.
Well, yeah, call in on Friday. Call on Friday. Friday's the open lines day. Okay, I was waiting for your call last Friday, but you didn't call in.
Well, it's a matter of whether the schedules match up. Are you available to talk about the currency today?
About the currency?
Yeah.
You mean the reset, the collapse of the dollar? Is that what you're talking about? The Great Reset?
I'm talking about the Federal Reserve note, because the currency is its own issue. Separate from inflation, the currency is just its own issue. The debt-based currency is its own issue.
Well, as long as you brought it up, go ahead. But if you're going to talk about currency, then let's talk currency. If you're going to talk about ID, then we'll talk about ID. But what was your thought, my dear?
Well, no, it's just that nobody wants to discuss that the currency itself is an issue, and that the currency itself is affecting the cost of living.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody wants to discuss the debt-based currency and, the issues that come along with it. Nobody wants to discuss, I'm just going to go ahead and say this, that the same currency is used for moral and immoral things.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to discuss that, the clergy use the same currency as prisoners use, and just nobody wants to discuss that, and I kind of wonder where bartering went within our society, because I see a few websites, that discuss bartering and try to hook up those that want to barter. But I just wonder what happened to bartering. And I guess the other thing that I would say about currency is that it distorts the value of things, because there are things that are worth much more than you get charged for them, which I don't suppose is a complaint. And then there are things that are completely overpriced and unavailable because of the currency. So it's distorted the value of our whole economy.
Well, you're absolutely right on that. But the currency of originally from the Coinage Act of was it 1797? I think it was. The dollar was defined as so many grains of silver or so many grains of gold, and that's as long as we were based on
measurement. Yeah, the definition of a dollar is not a piece of paper. It's a measurement.
Thank you. That's exactly right. It's a measurement. But the thing is that the dollar, since we took it off the gold standard, they keep changing the value of the dollar. That's like, the measurement. That's like saying, okay, the quart lost ground today. It's no longer 32 ounces. Today it is 30 ounces. Okay, or a foot is no longer 12 inches. It gained ground today. Now the foot is now 13 inches. You can't change a unit of measurement. That's not the way it works. But that's what they do with the dollar. Okay?
Yeah, and then the other thing is that when you look at a list of measurements, when you look at like a table of measurements and what all of these things are equivalent to, the dollar is not even mentioned as a measurement.
No, that's
like along with the other measurements. What a pound.
Well, of course not. They're not going to.
But a dollar is not among the measurements.
No, they're not going to teach you that either. There's a lot of stuff that they don't teach you in school. Okay, because if you don't know, then that's easy to manipulate. So, but you're absolutely right. But anyway, listen, I'm going to move on here. Call in on Friday, and we'll talk about the ID situation.
Yes, I can. Okay, thank you.
Okay, my dear, thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it. Okay, I got to share something with you. As you know, I mentioned it on the show every day, is that we're brought to you in part by the Wave Watch. Well, the Wave Watch is getting serious recognition. How many of you folks out there know Dr. Brian Ardis? Yeah, you know who Dr. Ardis is. He's been screaming from the rooftops ever since the plandemic. And he was one of those doctors who was, being persecuted, and because he was basically telling the truth. And now he's being interviewed by lots of people. Well, guess what? He was talking to Linda Banber, the creator of the Wave Watch, the other day. Listen to this.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Ardis, host of the Dr. Ardis Show, and this is an exciting special presentation about one of our amazing trusted partners that we have been collaborating with and using their devices and products, my wife and I both, for the last several years. So I'm very excited to have, once again, the inventor, the creator of the Wave Watch, of which I have both of them here, the new models and their new branding, color schemes. Look at these fancy little watches. They're amazing. And we use these and wear these every single day. And they emit sound frequencies that help to heal the body, of which it's been known for millennia that sound creates these frequencies and wavelengths of sound that enhance the function of cells in the human body. And every cell in the human body has a certain frequency it vibrates at. And when you put those sound frequencies into it or expose the cells of your body to them, it enhances those cells. They're supposed to be vibrating at a specific frequency. And here to talk about the amazing health benefits and to show you a specific presentation. She's going to take you through her own Wave Watch presentation about all the health benefits of sound and the physical effects of sound.
Yeah, I tell you, you'll know, listen. I've been telling you folks about this for months and months and months. The Wave Watch it's a technology it's been around for a long time, but it was suppressed. When the feds found out what Royal Raymond Rife was doing, when he was applying Tesla's technology, Tesla said frequency is everything. Royal Raymond Rife ran with that and started to discover that those sound frequencies would help vitalize and rejuvenate and help to grow. It would benefit the cells in your body, blood cells, skin cells, bone cells. At the same time, it would also, you could use frequencies to get rid of parasites. Yeah, those nasty bugaboos that we all have. And it would also help to eliminate viruses and bacteria. These frequencies are amazing. And that's why I've been telling you about the Wave Watch for all this time. If you haven't checked it out, you need to check out the Wave Watch. And you'll save $100 if you use the promo code REDPILL100. So check out the Wave Watch, folks. It really, really, really works. And that's, like I said, go to our website, TheWTFReports.com, and then the pop-up will show you, take you right to a page where you can check out the Wave Watch and then do your own research. There's plenty of stuff out there. Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary. And you can get more tank by also visiting our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page and you'll take you down to a window where you can read all the specifications and details about why Get More Tank works. Yes, it does. Makes your engine run cleaner, more powerful, and you will save a lot of money in gas. One purchase, if you use the promo code REDPILL101, you'll save 10%, which means you pay $20, you get 5 tablets. Now, once you've conditioned your car or truck or whatever vehicle you have, once it's conditioned to using this catalyst, you will see anywhere between 15 and 20% increase in your mileage, depending upon your make, model, and year of the vehicle and how you drive, of course. But if you're getting 20% better mileage, you're going to save a tank of gas with every purchase. Do the math. This is a no-brainer. It's a win-win. So go to our website, TheWTFReports.com, and get more tank. Okay, that said, I know I'm changing subjects here a little bit, but I wanted to spend a little bit of time because of what's going on with the world situation right now. Everybody now is starting to look askance at Israel. Israel is losing support in this country. It's crumbling. And Benjamin Netanyahu is doing everything he can to to stop the damage. He's in serious damage control right now. And he's invited, certain media influencers over to Israel, and he's paying them $7,000 for every post that they put on social media. That's pro-Israel. Now, this should be illegal. Since when do we allow a foreign leader of a foreign country to come in and meddle with our social media and with our media in general? And unfortunately, most of Americans, I hate to say it, but my gosh, the overwhelming majority of our population is dumb as a rock. I mean, really. I mean, you want let your eyes fall half closed. Your eyes are at half mass, okay? Let your jaw draw open and let yourself drool. Okay, that's what a lot of Americans look like. They're like deer in the headlights. You could tell they could be standing on a railroad track, and you're pointing and screaming, "Here comes the freight train!" What? I don't believe you. It's coming. Here it is. It's going to come. What's on TV? I mean, this is what we're dealing with. And where's that American spirit? I'm proud to be an American where I get to think I'm free. I mean, this is what we're dealing with. I don't know what, that's why I keep blowing the damn trumpet, screaming from the rooftops. And meanwhile, you got Ted Cruz out there. I got to play this again. This is insanity. Ted?
How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders? How about we all come together and say, let's stop rape? How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles?
Unbelievable. Unflaming believable. I mean, this is just craziness. Just nuts. And meanwhile, let me see if this is it. Yeah, let me see. Oh, yeah. The ambassador to Turkey, his name is Tom Barrack, and he was being interviewed, he was talking about Israel.
I don't trust any of them. Our interests are not aligned. Ally is a mistaken word. Our interests are not aligned.
Including Israel?
Absolutely. It's not the United States of Israel. We're befriending, and we have befriended, Islam in the East. If you just look at the demographics, you're going to have, by 2040, 2045, 10 billion people in the world. You're going to have 5 billion Muslims. 5 billion. So are we going to keep pounding?
What is the blowback on the United States? We're talking about the Muslim population exploding over the next decades. What is the blowback from funding Israel's actions in Gaza? I mean, you would agree it's not going to be good.
Look, I think America is divided on that issue. And it will come to fruition. Either there'll be a solution that people say was worth it, or there'll be a solution that wasn't worth it, and people can vote with their feet the next time around.
You can vote with their feet. In other words, deeds, not words, not ballots. It's what you do. And, you know, I hate to say it, folks, but if you're a Christian out there, we're on the wrong end of this whole deal, okay? I mean, if you look at what's going on with the Muslim population, okay, they believe that they should have as many children as they possibly can. And if you look at the replacement rate in the Western world of white Christians, Caucasians, okay, it's 1.2. Now, that's well below the sustainability rate. You got to have 2.1 in order to maintain a population. But the white race, Americans, are not having kids. I don't want to bring up a kid in this world. Things are too screwed up. Oh, man, no, I can't bring a child into this world. I know you've heard that argument before, and it's a valid argument. I mean, yeah, I feel the same way. I would hate to be a child in the world today. I mean, this world is really messed up. But the bottom line here is that the white race, the Caucasians, the Christians, are not having children like they used to. But the Muslims are popping them out like crazy. Not only that, but they believe they can have several wives. So if each woman is having, well, the average is like, what, 8 children? I mean, they could be popping kids out left and right. And this is why in the next 20 years, we will see an explosion of Muslims in this world. So Christians will be in the serious minority. Now, as far as, the Jews are concerned, well, we've got this constant battle going on between Jews and Muslims and Christians. And what it's looking like right now in this country, I mean, this is why everybody's looking at Israel right now, because Israel and the Jews, and by the way, I want to be specific about this. If you watch that film, I've been telling you, I tell you, you no listen. I tell you over again, you got to watch this movie. You got to watch Nick Alvear's The Greatest Show on Earth, Part 3. You got to do this. Because what's going to happen, folks, the entire subterfuge, the entire deception is got the Christians and the Jews fighting against each other. And meanwhile, the Muslims are popping them out like left and right over here. And the Israeli government, and again, I point this out, in that film, it explains exactly what the Johns Hopkins University proved. They did an ancestry study and found that 97.5% of Israelis are not indigenous. They come from Eastern Europe and North America. In other words, they're not from the Middle East. They're not indigenous. They're not the real descendants of the Jews of the Bible. They are basically descendants of the Ashkenazis, the Khazarians, who basically adopted Judaism. They wrapped themselves in the star of Remphan. By the way, the symbol of Jews for millennia was the menorah. It wasn't the Star of David. The Star of David does not exist. David did not have a star. However, Moloch had a star. Remphan had a star. That's in the book of Amos. So that 6-pointed star was adopted by the Ashkenazis, by the Khazarians, so they could call themselves Jews. And that lines right up with the number 96% 96% of those who are calling themselves Jews, they are not. They're not the original ones. They're Khazarians or Ashkenazis. I mean, this is, like I said, this is all history. You could call me a racist, call me an anti-Semite, call me any name that you want. My skin is thick. I've been at this for way too long. It's not about anti-Semitism. And besides, as you regular listeners know, according to that ancestry study, as I just mentioned, 97.5% of the Israelis are not indigenous, but 80% of the Palestinians are. The Palestinians are the Semites. The Israelis are the anti-Semites. You see how everything is all bass-ackwards. And it's so frustrating. It is, oh gosh, it's almost laughable. Although nobody's laughing at this point. But I was getting to the point that the way things are going right now, you're going to see the persecution of Christians escalate. And that's biblical. We're going to see it. Anyway, oh gosh. Oh man. Hey, let's go back to 2017. President Trump now has been talking with Qatar. Okay, and let me remind you that Israel or Bibi Netanyahu has been sending the money to Qatar. Qatar turns it around and funds Hamas. They're just shuffling money back and forth. And meanwhile, Trump's making deals with Qatar. But let's turn the clock back about, 8 years, 2017. And here's what Bush had to say about Qatar.
The nation of Qatar, unfortunately, has historically been a funder of terrorism at a very high level. And in the wake of that conference, nations came together and spoke to me about confronting Qatar over its behavior. So we had a decision to make. Do we take the easy road, or do we finally take a hard but necessary action? We have to stop the funding of terrorism. I decided, along with Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, our great generals and military people, the time had come to call on Qatar to end its funding. They have to end that funding. The nation of Qatar...
Okay, now it just repeats. So you could see the flip-flops. And I have to ask the question, what's changed? We keep hearing flip-flops. This has been going on ever since I threw my head in the ring as an activist. Remember the first Gulf War with George Bush Sr. and General Schwarzkopf and General Colin Powell, and we have to go in there and have to get Saddam, get him out of there, out of Kuwait. Okay, and yeah, so Saddam Hussein was our mortal enemy then. Oh, but turn the clock back a few years, and you got Donald Rumsfeld shaking hands with Saddam Hussein. He was our good buddy. And then all of a sudden, he becomes the enemy. Okay? And that's the way it is so many times. Okay? Then we had September 11th. It was Osama bin Laden. He was the bad guy. We'll turn the clock back a few years, and guess what? Osama bin Laden was CIA. His family was in business with the Bush family. Good buddies, and all of a sudden you turn on him. Okay? And it goes either way. You could have a really bad enemy who becomes your friend. They go back and forth and play us all like a harp from hell. And we all keep on buying it. We swallow it. We consume it. And this is disgusting. Anyway, I know I'm all over the map today, but it's so important people start really paying attention and understand that everything we're being fed needs to be examined. We have to look at both sides. And as far as the Charlie Kirk assassination is concerned, oh my God, WTF. Oh, all hell is breaking loose with that. But you know who's strangely silent about it? Turning Point USA. They're not saying doodly squat. Turning Point USA had all those cameras, all those 4G cameras all over the place. And yet none of that footage has been released. Why is that? Why is it that all of the security cameras all over that campus, none of those films have been released, except for that one film where you see this fuzzy figure running across the roof? But they don't back that video up about 3 or 4 seconds to show where that supposed shooter was on the roof. I mean, there's so much covering up going on. And now you have to say, wait a second, Kash Patel, what the heck are you doing? What is going on? Why are you basically so closed-mouthed about this? And then you take a look at his girlfriend. Oh, former former Mossad, right? IDF, security, intelligence. So is she Kash Patel's handler? We need to ask these questions. We need to do the research. And God bless Ian Carroll and Ryan Mata and yes, Candace Owens and a lot. Oh man, I tell you, they say if you're not catching flack, you're not over the target. Well, I'll tell you, a lot of these independent researchers, the internet sleuths that are out there doing the groundwork, they should be applauded and they should be listened to, because you're never going to find the answers unless you have the courage to ask the questions. And sadly, there are too many people out there that don't want questions asked. I went through that crap when I was doing the 9/11 research. They said to me, oh, well, if you don't know what it is, you can't talk about it. Well, if we don't talk about it, we'll never know what it is. That's the bass-ackwards logic that you're dealing with. And unfortunately, most Americans out there, they're not picking up on this insanity because their mouth is half open, their eyes are half closed, they're drooling, and they're watching Netflix. Or Super Bowl, or football, or the baseball playoffs started. Yeah, the Red Sox beat the Yankees. Yeah. When does it stop? I don't know if we can pull this one out of the fire, but I do know one thing. I do know one thing for sure, is that the power of prayer is, I don't think that there's anything more powerful. We have to pray. We have to manifest. We have to go to the source. And I've said it many times, dear listener, sometimes we all have to go and look in the mirror and look beyond the eyes that are looking back. Understand that you're driving a vehicle. Whatever body that you're in, it's just like a car. Okay, you could have a sedan or a four-door or a pickup truck or a van or an SUV, whatever. You're not that car. The car is the extension of the driver. The same thing can be said about you. You're in a body, and the body is your car. What kind of driver are you? You could be tall, you could be short, you could be fat, you could be thin, you could be blonde, black-haired, you can be, Oriental, you could be yellow, black, white, brown, whatever. That's your car. The question is, who's driving? What kind of person is behind that wheel? And this is why I'm saying, folks, we have a life. We're born and we die. And when you die, you don't get to take nothing with you except whatever love and spirit that you expressed during your lifetime. And that's what's important. Now, you don't have to believe me if you don't want to. That's my own personal belief. But that's just the way it is. So, anyway, well, I didn't mean to get off on a soapbox and rant today, but there's just so much going on. Sometimes you just got to get centered. You got to get back into Scripture, and try to figure this stuff out. It ain't easy. I just hope and pray to God that I'm saying the right things and He'll guide me in my spirit, so I won't stray and I won't do some bad stuff. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up, folks. If you like the show, please do business with our sponsors. Get a Wave Watch, pick up some Get More Tank, and if you're listening on BitChute or YouTube or Rumble or Facebook, click like, share, subscribe, and spread the word. Word of mouth is the best way to get it out there. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this Thursday edition of the WTF Reports. I'm Dave vonKleist. I thank you so much for your listenership. God bless you all. You have a wonderful day, and stay safe, stay free, and I'll see you tomorrow.